What's up? How are things? Everybody good?
You look good in red and white.
Yeah, you look good in yellow.
I ditched the hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went visor.
yep, yep. You look good.
New tradition.
Where's your Grant hat that's got a visor about a foot and a half
He'll
long?
be in there a little bit. I told him I would never do that.
That's an older guy
Just got to
thing.
carry the ball on.
Okay. No better way to have this race weekend unfold and have the defending race winner in here. David Ragan, he drives the number 34 KFC Go Cup Ford. And David has had 4 straight top 10 finishes here at Talladega. I know what a thrill it was last year when you were in victory lane. Certainly you've shown your fortitude and abilities when it comes to restrictor plate racing over the course of your career. So talk about coming here to Talladega. And I'm going to toss in this little one here too. Coming to Talladega, you won last year. You get a win now. You're in the chase. So
Looking
talk
for the
about
chase.
that and how all that plays out right now.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be back at Talladega. Obviously, our track record speaks a lot. We've had some good race cars here even before we were able to win this race a year ago. We've had some fast cars and been in contention even from my first couple of Sprint Cup races here back in 07 and 08. But this is a fun track. It's a unique race. Daytona and Talladega are different races than what we experience all other racetracks on the Sprint Cup circuit. And I tell everyone that I enjoy coming here. I wouldn't enjoy racing this type of race 36 times a year, but 4 times a year, 2 at Daytona and 2 at Talladega. I really enjoy this type of racing. It fits my style. Our race cars are good at these places. I've got good Ford engines, and our Ford Fusions have been fast. So it is fun to come here. We've kind of gotten off to a rotten start to start the 2014 season. So this could be a good race for us to just have a solid run and kind of turn our season around. But it's great weather. The crowds are always good here at Talladega. So it is a fun weekend, and just in the back of our minds, we do think a little bit about if we can get that win, and that's not just at any track, or just at Talladega, but at any track, you're in the chase, and it's something we don't want to be overwhelmed with and really think about that more than we should, but it is something that we think about, and I guarantee every other team that has not got a win yet this year, they think about that too, and in the closing laps of Sunday's race, I guarantee the top 6 or 8, top 10 guys that are in contention for the win, they're going to be thinking about that chase berth if they can cross the finish line first. So it's something that we're thinking about, and we've just got to execute all weekend to try to get to that point.
Very good. We'll start with Ed Hinton, and then we'll work our way around. Holly will be up on deck.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com, over to your left, David. To just try to illustrate what a casino and a roulette wheel this place and this race can be, is there any way you can kind of synopsize what you and David were able to do last spring and to pull off the David and David show, and then by contrast talk a little bit about what y'all were not able to do that you couldn't get a repeat win here?
Well, what you're not able to do is predict what the other 42 guys on the racetrack are going to be, where they're going to be, what they're going to be doing, how aggressive they're going to be the first 3 quarters of the race. And certainly every team probably has a thought process going into the race. We'd like to see this happen. We'd like to work together. We want to achieve this, but it doesn't always work like that. And like every other team, we had a game plan that if we're close to one another, we certainly will try to work together for the common good of Front Row Motorsports until that last lap when all bets are off and you race for the win. But, I couldn't have won the race without David Gillen, and he couldn't have finished second, without me leading him there at the end. So it certainly was a team effort, but this is a very much a crapshoot, a roulette wheel, like you explained. There are so many factors that go in to what happens because you're dependent on one another in the draft. At other types of racetracks, you're looking for clean air. You're looking for that line that no one else is running, and here in Daytona is totally opposite. You're looking to be in the tire tracks of someone that's fast. You're looking to have 6 or 8 cars lined up versus that line that only has 1 or 2 cars in it. So you're looking for other people, and what you do and the decisions that I'll make behind the wheel are very much on what cars around me are doing. And so it is very opposite from what we're doing on a normal weekend.
And one real quick thing about the chase. For a team like yours, I mean, last year you came here, y'all had to focus on the plate tracks to spend money wisely. Obviously, you got a little more money this year. But if you should win and get in the chase, do you face a more mountainous task once you get in the chase as a smaller team than, say, if Jimmy Johnson gets in the chase or Jeff Gordon gets in the chase? Does when you're in present you with a way taller order for the chase than it would these other teams?
Oh, there's no question about it. We would have a very tall order to compete with those teams, and really we are not a chase contender. You know, we're a wild card contender. We can be that, and there are a lot of other teams that may have a chance to win at a road course, may have a chance to put tires on late at, you know, Atlanta Motor Speedway that just chews up tires and kind of sneak a win out. We are not consistent enough to, you know, win several races, to click all 5 or 6 top 10s in a row, and we realize that. But what NASCAR has done has given us a chance to be in the chase for the championship, and that would really change the course of front row motorsports and what we're trying to achieve as a team and personally as a driver. So, you know, I think that, you know, hats go off to NASCAR for being bold and making that adjustment to our playoff system that expands the field to 16 teams, and we're certainly not going to be a threat to win the championship if we can get into the chase. And whoever, you know, wins that race at Watkins Glen that can't win any other races, they're not going to be a threat to win the championship either. But you're in the show. You never know what can happen, and you got to start somewhere. You know, you got to get a top 5 before you can get a win, or you got to get that first win before you get your second. So we realize where we're at in this sport, and we're happy to be in here talking about it.
Holly Kane, then Marty Smith. Go ahead, Holly.
Holly Kane with NASCAR.com. In light of that, you kind of spoke to several of the things I was going to ask you. But when we talked earlier at the media tour, you said your team was going to go about things a little bit differently. If you were good at a track, that's where you would test, as opposed to going somewhere where you guys needed lots of work because you felt that presented your best chance to get a win. How is that working out for you guys? And is Talladega, you know, a circle it on the schedule type place for you? I mean, this is, you know, of the 4 restrictor plate tracks, I'm assuming those are the ones you want to get the win.
Yeah, for sure, and that's really what we have done. You know, looking at Front Row Motorsports' position in the world of NASCAR, we felt like we've really struggled at the high-speed, high-downforce racetracks where mechanical grip and aero grip both play a factor, and so we realize that is our weak point. But looking into this year, NASCAR adjusting the qualifications for the chase, we decided that we need to really look at Bristol, you know, Martinsville are 2 tracks where, you know, we have a threat that, you know, in a perfect situation we could run well, have a chance to win Daytona, Talladega, and really Watkins Glen and Sonoma. I'm not that great of a road racer, but my teammate David Gillen is a good road racer, and he would have a great shot at winning Sonoma, you know, contending at Watkins Glen. So we have put some extra effort and some parts and pieces, spent some extra money to try to help us for those tracks, a little testing for those tracks as well. To answer your question, how's it gone so far? Not that great. We did run well at Martinsville. We've had issues at both of the short tracks, car, you know, parts and mechanical failures that have taken us out of a good day. So we still got some optimism going into the second part of the season, and I know we've got some racetracks on the schedule that we can perform well at, but I'm sure other teams have done the same thing. Look at your strong suits and try to make them a little stronger, and that's all you need is one win. I think that one win can get you into the chase, and that's why we take Talladega very serious, and we do all that we can and try to come here with a good attitude and try to make the best of the weekend.
We'll go Marty Smith, and then we'll go to Tom Jensen.
Marty Smith. Oh, I'm sorry, Holly. You go right ahead. Forgive me.
Do you expect a team like yours to get into the chase?
Absolutely, and yeah, I think you look at AJ Allmendinger, you look at Casey Mears. They've been running a lot better this year. You even look at the Petty cars, Marcus Ambrose and Eric Amarillo. They are not consistent enough to make the chase in the old format, and I think they would admit that too. You look at our team. You look at Tommy Baldwin's guys. Reed Sorensen had a shot to win the Daytona 500 this year, and yes, there will be one, maybe two cars that will benefit from the new changes and will make the chase. Absolutely.
Marty Smith, Tom Jensen. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, my question's not necessary anymore.
All right, Marty, thank you very much. Good to see you.
You can ask it anyway if that'll make you feel any better.
Tom Jensen, and then Matt Weaver. Chris.
Hey, David. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. What do you expect with the new qualifying format? You think guys are going to run together, going to spread out more? What do you figure is going to happen?
There's no question that we're going to run together. The bigger the pack, the more cars you have, the faster you go. But you have to, everyone's got to sit down and think what they want to achieve from qualifying. Do you want to sit on the pole? If you want to set fast time or qualify in the top 3 or 4, you're going to have to be aggressive. You're going to have to make some risky moves. If you want to be conservative and just make the race, then you can be a little conservative, and you can maybe ride behind the pack, or have a clean lap and come in and just park it. You just need to determine what you want to get out of qualifying, but there's no doubt that there will be a fairly large pack. I would assume the first part of that qualifying, and there's no secrets. The bigger the pack, the more cars that are in a line, the faster you're going to go, and you'll have some guys that realize they'll have a chance for the pole that maybe wouldn't have a chance for a pole, and they'll take some chances. But I think in our case, we just want to play it cool. Obviously, get into the race. It would be great to, qualify in the top 15 or 20 where we could get a little better pit stall selection, but I didn't really come down here to just set my focus on setting on the pole. We came down to try to do everything we can to win the race, and it doesn't really matter where you qualify.
Let's go to Matt and then to Chris. Back behind you there.
Matt Weaver, Popular Speed. David, given the financial situation of your team and how just bringing home the car is so important from a week-to-week basis, what is your mentality going into one of these races where there's at least maybe a 50% chance that you could get tore up in a race, as far as how aggressive you need to be or how conservative you need to be just to take it home in one piece?
Yeah, I certainly think about that throughout the race and what decisions that I make. I probably don't think about it as much as our general manager, Jerry Freese, does, because he's the one that has to write the checks to, buy these new, parts and pieces. But it is something that once we have a good handling or fast car, that we don't have the time to do white light scanning and spend a lot of time in the wind tunnels and reproduce a good car. So if we've got something that's strong and fast, what we've had in the past, certainly we'd like to take care of it. But we all realize that at the end of these races, you got to be aggressive, and you can't think about that. But it is something in practice that we do think about. Our backup cars aren't as good as our primary cars. They're our primary cars for a reason. So that's why we really choose not to practice a lot during practice qualifying. That goes into our strategy for qualifying. But once they drop the green flag in the race, you really can't think about that much, because you are here to race. You are here to try to win the race, and sometimes that does mean taking chances that could result in tearing your race car up. But we do think about that more in practice and qualifying versus the race.
We got Chris, and then we'll have time for one more. Did you have a question, Jeff? Jeff Clark? You okay? All right, we'll go Chris, and we'll end with Mike.
Chris Knight, NASCAR Wire Service. David, KFC on board this weekend, new sponsor for Front Row Motorsports. Just wondering if you could talk about that, and if winning Talladega last year had anything to do with it.
Yeah, I think winning Talladega last year had a lot to do with it. Certainly that, we do have a relationship with some of the young brands. Our team owner, Bob Jenkins, is a franchisee for Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, KFC. And, winning the race last year, they paid attention to that. There's obviously a lot of race fans with, young brands and certainly the KFC. And they've got the KFC Go Cup that they're pushing and promoting. And they've got a relationship with NASCAR and with Fox and some of the things that they do. So they're definitely a big supporter and a big believer in NASCAR. And, it was a great timing. We'd been talking to them about a few other races, and Talladega came up. And, as a defending race winner and, a great chance to run well and get some good TV time. And it just worked out, but they've been great to work with. We had a little store appearance last night where we gave away some KFC Go Cups to a lot of race fans and a lot of people stopping off and getting something to eat. So it's been a good partnership, and it's been fun. The car looks great, and we're very grateful to have KFC on board, and hopefully it turns into something a little bigger and better. But definitely the win did play a big part in making it happen.
Final question, Mike.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. David, at Daytona, before the rain delay, it seemed like the field kind of stretched out into a parade and was pretty much single file. But once you got out of the rain delay, it was wide open from the time the green dropped until the checker dropped. Do you feel like that's partly because of the emphasis on winning this year? And if so, do you anticipate the race here being a little more wide open than it was in the past?
I think that the strategies that every team has, they're all a little different, and every driver, every crew chief, every spotter really has a different idea on what it takes to win. And from what I think what will happen, and usually what does happen is the first part of the race is very racy, and you get into a point in the middle where you're just kind of riding, logging some laps. These are 500-mile races, and sometimes I think we do forget that they are very long races, and we are taking care of our equipment, whether it be our engines and, how aggressive we are on our temperatures. We all have strategy, whether we're taking no tires, 2 tires, or 4 tires during the event. So you have a part during the middle of the race where everyone's kind of taking a breath, setting themselves up, for the remaining 60, 70 laps, 100 miles. So I always break the race in 3 parts. You've got the first part, everyone's kind of racing hard, getting themselves set up. The middle part, taking it easy and setting yourself up for the end. And then the end's always very exciting. And you can see trends over the years with cautions and, with passes under green flagged and kind of see that. So I expect that'll probably be about the same. There's no chance for rain on Sunday, so you'll probably see a race like that on Sunday. But I guarantee that the final 10 or 12 laps will probably be as crazy as we've ever seen, because everyone will be thinking about getting that win like they've been thinking about it all year.
David, thank you so much. It's good to have you in here today. This is really good to have you, and good luck. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. And one thing, I know a lot of you guys were friends with Captain Herb Emery in Atlanta. We lost him last month, and I know we've got some of our friends here out of the Atlanta market, and want to say hello to anyone that's a friend and friend. He was a good supporter of me, and I always think about him anytime I talk to you guys. So if you knew Captain Herb, he'll be missed. And thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, David.